Greetings and aloha. What's going on? StreamYard says I'm live. I feel like I'm live. You guys are here to keep me alive. Oh, and I hope you're living the dream. Happy Friday all over your body. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. Live on a Friday, a little bit before 9 o'clock here from the Big Mango. And haven't done a live stream in a while. And for me, a while is just under a week right now. But wanted to hop on over here. I've been busy doing other things, not the least of which will be more live streams. Hey, what's going on, Carl? Good to see you, man. Absolutely. You're the first person at the Cool Kids table. Welcome. Cody, what's happening, buddy? Happy Friday from the land of smiles. And I have a little bit of hum going on because I'm trying a new light ring. But I think, unfortunately, it's causing a little bit more hum than I'd like in this microphone, but that's okay. Hopefully it won't come through. And Aztec, good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're living the dream, because if you're not, well, you know. But it is going to bug me if this hums too much, because like the light is kind of like right in my face. I was using this microphone yesterday when we were doing there we go. Yeah. Unplug it, Mike. That'll make it sound even less. Yeah. I got to the honor, actually, of being asked to be part of a buddy's podcast. And it looks like it's going to be really exciting, or it is already really exciting, actually. Hold on. Let me move this out of my way so it's not glaring in my face. That's a little bit better. My lighting. I actually also got a new softbox, if you know what that is. Basically, it's kind of like an umbrella with a cover on it. And then there's like a light inside of it. And it just like kind of gives this outward bound light, which is like really nice in my eyes, and ideally nice on the screen too. So anyway, you can't hear hum. Good. That's absolutely good. Ooh, man, I missed a bunch. I'm sorry. Aztec, always good to see you here, buddy. Thank you so much. Saw that you popped onto Rob's live stream the other night, which is really cool. It's kind of good getting an update from him. And always good to check in with you guys, which is like really cool. I was using this microphone yesterday, actually, at another studio, and so I think I actually damaged it. I think I like dropped it accidentally, and because of that, it caused some problems with the circuitry in it. So I'm gonna probably have to like spend some attention units getting ready for that. Mr. Mitch, absolutely, you are not late, Aztec, and I'm sorry, MetTech. Wow, so much technology with you guys here. MetTech, Aztec. Oh, lack of tech in Mike's microphone here. I could switch it out. Actually, I've been wanting to get a new microphone too, as well as a new laptop, as you guys mentioned, or as I've mentioned to you guys before. But anyway, so a little bit about this week is I got asked by a really good friend and someone who is I really respect from a business perspective. He's also intelligent. He's cool. He's normal. The standard people that you guys might be like, yeah, I could see being a friend of his, And again, welcome to the Cool Kids table, all my friends. Thursday evening and almost 9 p.m. there in Texas. So probably almost 10 p.m. there on the East Coast. Aloha, Mango. Good to see you. Mahalo for coming by, man. Good to see you. I have it's anyway, so the podcast is called Bangkok Strange, and there's about 6, or if you were to search that in your podcast locations where you normally look for them, you would notice that there's about 6 or 7 episodes already, and they were done. My buddy Dana is the host, and his co-host Woody was on there with him before, and he's like really a great guy. And actually, he brought a lot to the podcast because he was born in the U.S., grew up in the U.S., but he's Thai. And so he has that like sort of Thai perspective of Bangkok. Anyway, so Dana asked me to come over. And of course, my ego was like really psyched, right? But then I, stepped back and I said, well, right, but I'm not Thai. Like, how can I do? Anyway, so it's turned out to be a great marriage. And I think Dana and I are really going to add some value, or at least humbly, hopefully, I'm going to add some value to this podcast. We recorded 2 episodes this week. One of them was about an hour, and then the one yesterday was about almost 4.5 hours. And we had a special guest on there, and so that's going to be really cool. So anyway, I'll be announcing that in all the social media, and we've got a whole bunch of social media that we're going to be putting it together. So A Doom or Life Deja Vu chat. Yeah, absolutely. Last time you were over, was I wearing the same shirt? Is that why? I like only have a few pieces of clothing, so I kind of like wash them on a regular basis, hang them outside, and then just kind of grab the next one. And this might have been in the top of the pile. So hummus there too. Okay. Well, that was back then, but unfortunately, it's in my ears, so that's kind of a drag. But all right, yes, the Cool Kids Table, ladies and gentlemen, is welcoming the Cool Kids Table, and that's pretty awesome. So I'm seeing you guys hugging it out, chest bumping like crazy, which I totally appreciate, and never seen the Aztec Met Tech till now. You mention it, yeah, kind of crazy, right? Hello, how are you? I'm on my way to get married. Really? That's great, man. I'm so excited for you, Dave. That's really cool. Dave is one of the guys. He's also Dave Clark, if you see him chat on Facebook. And he's got a great lady in his life, and a Thai woman, and came over here to Bangkok to do some stuff, to do some travel, but also to go to the U.S. Embassy and get that piece of paper that says, hey, basically, like, I'm not married anymore, and I can get married to a Thai woman, and then go through the whole process. So that's pretty exciting, man. That's like, totally awesome. When you find the one, then, it's a pretty good feeling. I will tell you that right now. At least for me, it is. So anyway, thumbs up, congratulations, and a huge hug and a high five from the Cool Kids Table, Dave. Just saw a Bangalore Road video. I'll watch it after this. How would you compare Bangla to the likes of LK Metro? Cody, are you asking me relative to not COVID? Because right now, I mean, I will say that there's a little bit more action on LK Metro, like, on a Friday or Saturday evening. Bangalore Road is pretty empty. There are some like nightclubs, like discos, that had some people in it. It's a lot more touristy. Bangla is a lot more touristy. I mean, it's walking street, right? So imagine like basically walking street in Pattaya, but about 3 times wider and not as long as all of walking street. I mean, if you consider all of walking street in Pattaya to basically be when you get under the sign, like all the way to the pier, but that's kind of a stretch. I mean, for the most part, it kind of stops like, well, for sure, it sort of stops like right before that resort, and then there's Mix nightclub upstairs in the back building there. But yeah, so Bangla's not as physically long. It's dense though. It's got a huge Tiger Bar is massive. It's basically like, those little bars that, seat, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 around, stage in the middle. And then, there's like, I mean, I think it's 5 across and like about 15, 20 deep. I mean, I should have counted it actually. But the last time I was there, they had gates on it in front of it, so I couldn't go to it. But I mean, again, it depends what you're looking for. There's live bands there. There's live music. There's, the standard clubs. There's the entertainment. There's nightlife. There's all of that. But there's the discos are infinitely better on Bangalore Road. In fact, they don't have any of those on LK. And but, from LK Metro, you can also like walk 5 minutes and you're at the beach, right? So there's that too. And whereas Bangalore Road, you walk 5 seconds and you're at the beach. I mean, it ends right there at Patong Beach. So I would argue that Patong / Bangalore Road is more expensive overall. I have obviously been, welcomed in and that sort of thing when I've been on LK Metro, but you don't have the guys with like the, the ping pong shows, and they're really, really after your business kind of thing. So anyway, that's just my opinion of the few times that I've been. I mean, I don't know. I've been to LK 5 to 10 times, maybe. I think the last time I was there with my buddy Eddie, we literally just like drove through on his motorbike and then like looked around and then left. And it was nighttime. It was kind of like, not really for us right now. And that was January, the last time he was here. So I'm just a simpleton, man. That's all. Just a simpleton, man. Mm-hmm. Mitch, I think you saw you upon Every Man Has a Story. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's is that a new channel? I mean, it sounds familiar for sure. I think maybe I've watched videos from it. Can't remember, but too late to bring you to your senses. No, I mean, I know what you mean by that. I know you're probably just like joking around, but at the end of the day, the way that Dave describes that that relationship that he's got, he's a really lucky guy. Yeah, absolutely. Morning stream there. Perfect timing for U.S. members. We are all relaxing for the evening from 8 to 10. Well, that's great to hear, dude. I have a 100 plus, and I will salute you with that. So thanks a lot, Cody. I'm glad you're here, man. It is. That's a nice shirt. Thank you. Actually, I was in. I think it was like a secondhand kind of place, like a vintage clothing store. Maybe this is hardly vintage, but I was looking for like a funky shirt. Like I really like Robert Graham shirts, and I like because they're embroidery on the sleeves. They're obviously really good quality. I mean, I think I have one that's over 10 years old, and obviously if you dry clean it, it's a little bit less abrasive to it, so it'll last a little longer. I've thrown a couple away in the last few years too, that I was like, well, I don't know whether this was real, because I would like buy them online, and it's got the whole knowledge, truth, that sort of thing at the bottom. Their embroidered signature sort of thing. But anyway, so a decent Robert Graham, meaning that like if you buy it brand new, it can be like 150, some are $250 dollars, and but you get them like on eBay, or you get them on I want to say Etsy, but that's not right. There's another clothing place, that little website / app in the US that I was using, and you can get them for like $20, $30, which is great, because then if you have to throw it away, it's no big deal. And but I really like Robert Graham's. But I was in this store one day, and I was looking for like a funky shirt, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of a weird pattern. I'll grab this thing, and I think it was literally probably like $5 or whatever. So anyway, thank you, Aztec. I appreciate it. Yes, I was over there, non-COVID. Yeah, so hopefully I answered it, as well as gave you some present data. And personally, I like LK Metro better too. It's smaller. I don't know. I'm trying to. There's probably some other reasons too. I've had a good time on Bangla with my business partner. Actually, he and I were there. Oh boy, when we were in Bangla Road, it was either right before? No, it was the year before. So it was before I met Gracie. So it's 2015 that I was there, and then of course I was there recently when I was down in Phuket. Warm and sunny. Hello from Atlanta. Good to see you, Rackman. That's awesome, man. I'm glad it's well, I would like that. Warm and stormy, not sunny. Stormy. Hey, how you doing, Hike? Morning, Mike. Sorry, you are not late. You are absolutely here at the exact time you're supposed to be, Dorman. No worries, man. Hey, thank you again for your emails. So, and to that point, actually, Todd sent me some interesting information, and I was reading. He does that frequently. And so I was looking online at a couple of things. You may have run across a article recently published talking about how they're going to potentially open up 5 islands in Thailand. And I'm sitting there going, man, I've heard this before. Well, sure enough, like they basically published the same article, very similar article, back in July. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, they did that before and it didn't happen. They're doing this. They're talking about this now in August, and it didn't happen. And so by that point, I'm actually going to share my screen here and show you guys a website in a second. But I did see another question that hopefully I want to get to here. By disco, do you mean girly bar with girly boys, or dance club with a disco ball? Yeah, so disco, right? Basically, look, here in the U.S., a lot of times they're labeled as nightclubs or dance clubs, right? However, pretty much the rest of the world refers to them as discos, meaning that there's like a DJ and you dance and that sort of thing, and you meet people and everything. Like in Bangkok, for example, probably one of the top, there's levels, and there's Sing Sing is what I've heard recently is like the #1 place to go to here in Bangkok. I can't remember what soy it's on. It's like 11, 13, 23, something like that, but it's not down my way. Anyway, so that's what I mean when I say disco. Girly bars, basically, I usually just refer to those as, what do I call those? Like beer bars, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, but if they're like dancing, right, then it's like go-go bar. That's the other thing. And we don't use that phrase. We don't use disco, and we don't use go-go bar pretty much in the United States. But coming over here, I found these new ones. Now, additionally, if I say nightclub, which if I were to say that, like, hey, dude, what nightclub you going to tonight? If I said that in Vegas, people would be like, oh, I'm going to Excess, or I'm going to, Avicii's place or whatever. But if I say nightclub to Gracie, when we first met, she thought I meant strip club, right? And so, but they don't say strip club here. And so that's what they call a nightclub. So that's why if you don't say disco over here, they're like, wait, where are you going? I guess better question is Bangla relaxed. I like bars to shoot pool, talk, watch a game, etc., but not so much go-go's where I feel like I'm geared toward training. I totally get that. So if you're looking for a place to play pool, there are a ton of pool tables in Bangla, specifically below street level. There's literally about probably about 2/3 of the way down from the beach. You go down these stairs, and there's a bunch of pool tables there. Additionally, way in the back of some of the other really, like Tiger, at least last time I was there, all the way in the back, there's a whole ton of pool tables, and that can really be really fun. And so you can talk, or you can have to yell, right? Like if you're in other places there on Bangla that have some live music or whatever. But I've sat at the kind of at the table, right, like right on Bangla with a buddy of mine, and there was a live band playing, but they were kind of like and so we weren't really yelling at each other. So that was like kind of a cool place to just like hang out. So that was pretty cool. Baubles and bangles are probably what you probably like. Alan Haper. Oh, let me check that out. I don't know about that. That might be a good recommendation. Heading out to a jump start, but we'll be listening. Yeah, I like Alchemetra, but I'm trying to go straight now. You mean as opposed to a straight street or thrift store shirt for me? Yeah, I dig thrift store shirts, man. I tell you what, here's the thing. I would go to the Goodwill in, if you don't know San Diego, then you don't know La Jolla. But La Jolla is a very sort of affluent community in the San Diego area. And I would go to this there weren't any Goodwills in La Jolla. But just south of La Jolla, there was a fairly new Goodwill. And so all of the people from La Jolla, when they were getting rid of their fairly expensive clothes, would just bring it down to that Goodwill and, just leave it there and then walk away. I cannot tell. 50% of the shirts I bought, I swear, they still had like the stapled piece of paper in it that the dry cleaner puts in there. One time I actually bought a jacket that they just taken like from the customer or whatever, and they hung it on it's like a, sport coat, right? Like a suit jacket kind of thing, but a little bit casual. And it was still in the plastic. I mean, it still had that like plastic bag that the dry cleaners put in the whole thing. And some of these things are like $11, $12. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? And so I'm a big fan of some of the Goodwills. Now, the Goodwills that I went to in Massachusetts were disgusting. They smelled really bad. The clothes were lousy and that sort of thing. So it absolutely depends, as we know the answer to everything. 16 watching, 8 thumbs up, 0 down. Awesome. And absolutely, dude, we're doing a Google of shakas. One with 100 zeros. 90. Yeah, no, totally, dude. You can get those there too, sir. Every now and then, it's like, oh my god, this is a great shirt. Carl says, I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. Yeah, baby. There you go. Baby, you're a song. You make me want to roll my window down and cruise. I like shirts like those, but more solid colors. Maybe a couple stripes. Absolutely, dude. I like those too. I like bright shirts. And that's the other thing the other reason why I really like the Robert Grahams, because they're kind of funky sometimes. Carl says he has a preference for lesbian dance theory music, but often I don't understand it. Well, you just need to be more LGBT, buddy. Cody says, reason I asked is I figure in a pool hall beer bar, you are more likely to meet a chick who just got off from working at the mall selling flip-flops, maybe. I mean, that may be your experience. And I'm not sure. I'm assuming you're talking about in Thailand. It hasn't been my experience that girls that like work at the mall like cruise over there. Because I mean, there are girls for sure that do that. But I don't. They're more likely, in my experience, to be at one of the discos later, like just like dancing around, usually with like 9 of their girlfriends, they travel in packs, it seems. But again, I haven't been in that scene for a while, really. So do update me, actually, if you find that to be a good solution. Hey, Mike, picked a good time to watch girly bars and something. Absolutely, dude. Yeah. Oh, no, totally. This is what I talk about before 10 a.m. After 10, it's all G-rated, baby. Damo says, that he is like really excited about that. That's good, man. It's good to see you too. I'm glad you guys are here. Damn, so good. Live streams on now. I'll pop back into the Cool Kids Table Talk. Cool. Wait, so many. What? How many? Today's Friday, right? Is today Saturday? Oh man, no, it's Friday. Okay, because every now and then I think to myself, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it like Wednesday morning. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a live stream, whatever, and I'm getting ready. I'm in the YouTube console, and then it pops up, hey, do more live streams. I said, oh, well, shoot, Jeremy's gonna do his live stream, and he only did it for like about an hour, so I could have hopped on afterwards, but I'm like, eh. And then I went and met some friends, and then I had to get a little bit of paperwork ready, and then had to set up. We were getting ready for the live stream on Thursday, so I had to do a little bit of research on the guests. So that was kind of interesting, but. Oops, sorry. So many good live streams. I like the San Diego references. Makes me think of Ron Burgundy. I don't really know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. Hey, damn, and I see, but for sure. How far away do you guys live from each other? I mean, are you far enough away where you're in different time zones in Australia? So what's on your agenda for today? My agenda? So I wanted to do a live stream. I got up about, I don't know, probably like about 6:30. And was answering some emails. And then one of my guys that I used to work with, basically one of the guys that used to be on my team, that they used to work for me. He reached out to me and says, hey, I had some questions. So I was like on email for a little bit and then became like 7:30. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll do something at 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8. And then I think I answered a couple other emails. I was testing another light box that I got. I was going to go down right at 9 and pick up my new softbox, which is basically a light. And so that's coming. I also have something else that I ordered, and I can't remember what it is, but basically from Lazada. So I was going to cruise down. I'll definitely get down. I would like to get down there and kind of set up what I have in the mail, but it may wait until I get back. But yeah, I'm trying to remember like what the heck did I order? I'm not as bad as those people that lived in that really wealthy neighborhood and then would take the clothes that they've literally. I mean, I bought clothes with new tags on them. I mean, these people would never wear these clothes and put them in. So I'm not that bad. I don't just buy stuff and then, basically give it away. But I do occasionally buy some things and and they sit and then I think, sorry. I don't really do that anymore. And that's the real nice thing about having a very finite size condo. And to be fair, where I live now, this condo is really not it's about the same size, obviously different layout because it's got the balcony and it's on the 10th floor. Than my one bedroom house. I mean, my one bedroom house was really small. Like I couldn't fit a king size bed in the bedroom. I could only fit a queen size. And then you really didn't have a whole lot of room to walk around it then. But I liked it because it was a great downsizing sort of exercise, which lasted 6 years and allowed me to basically be able to, move my entire life to Thailand in 3 pieces of luggage. Now, since I've gotten here, I've filled up the condo, but it's like, for example, I bought an inkjet printer, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm sick of like going down to the office that potentially is, it's only open Tuesday through Sunday. And for whatever reason, it was always inconvenient. It seemed like I needed to print something on Monday. And you know how inkjet printers work, right? I mean, the printer is like $20 and the ink cartridges are like $25. But it's one of those. So my point is it's one of those, it has physical space and I'm not going to take it with me if Gracie and I ended up going to another country. If we go to another condo in Bangkok, I'll just have like pay someone that's bring everything over and they can take 2-3 trips, whatever. But I have things like that. So I have an HP printer that is like taking up space. Now this mic stand and this microphone, it would probably be one of these deals where unless I'm leaving the country, I don't know, probably what I would do is I would probably ship it all prior. But I'm really trying not to collect a whole lot of stuff. I mean, that said, right now I'm looking at a giant 3-meter softbox and a probably about a 14-15 inch light ring. So there's a lot of stuff that I cannot fit my life in 3 pieces of luggage right now. But anyway, so that'll be the beginning of it. Hike. I'm going to cruise down, check my mail, take care of that stuff, and then although that may be afterwards, because I figured I started about 9, a little bit before 9, so I'll probably do a couple hour live stream because I just want to kind of hang out with you guys and see what you're up to, as well as show you this website now that we're all sort of hanging out. Let me get to that. Be cool if you and Jeremy did a weekly thing. Y'all get together like lamb and tuna fish. Boom. Well, that was Sundays, right? I mean, so for the most part, Sundays we did 2 in a row, and they seemed to be pretty popular. I know that both he and I left and was like, yeah, that was cool. One of the comments that I completely appreciate is the fact that, well, 2 of them actually that I really appreciate. The first one was, hey, it'd be really cool if you guys could have like 1 comments. So it's not like Mike's channel's comments and Jeremy's channel. And I love the fact that you guys are like double dipping, like you're on both channels at the same time. I'm honored by that. That's like totally cool. And if you didn't notice, I mean, also one of the reasons why I wanted to do it is I figured, well, again, 2 heads are better than one kind of thing. And Jeremy, for whatever reason, was really struggling with his AdSense thing. And it's, how do you, I mean, oh yeah, it's the YouTube algorithm and I can figure that out and I can fake it. No, you can't. I mean, you can't use a human brain to basically try and, diagnose the reasons why AI and ML designed by Google and their PhD data scientists is like not allowing me to generate as much revenue. And there's obviously tricks you can play. And that's what the whole SEO game is, right? You try and basically think like a computer and say, okay, well, based on this, other people's behaviors, they type in Thailand. I'm going to put Thailand in my title and all of these things. But we were just sort of sitting around and I said, we'll do it. I said, how about we just like get together and do it? And then you'll probably notice we were like, hey, so here's the PayPal link for Jeremy. Here is the, you can buy me a smoothie.com, right? But for the most part, it was like, let's put some money in the Do More Life Travel Fund. Okay. And I know that I may not be saying it correctly because I know that he had a pretty cool name for it, but it wasn't necessarily just travel fund regardless. And so that was cool. And so his goal, I mean, you guys know him, right? His goal is basically to get like $100 in PayPal every weekend. And I was watching and I'm like, why is this not, I mean, so I just figured maybe some dialogue would help with that. And it seemed to be very successful for him. Because look, I mean, it's no secret, right? That the amount of money that teachers make, one could argue, is not enough, right? For what they do. I don't know what he does exactly. I mean, I know he teaches English, but I don't know whether that means he's got like, I mean, like if you're teaching biology 101 in a lot of state universities, you've got, you get a cathedral basically filled with like 250 students and they're all learning from the same person on the same lesson plan that basically the professors regurgitated, semester after semester. But I don't know exactly. I believe he's got some one-on-one thing going on, potentially, multiple students at a time. But I'm not. But the point is not only do teachers not get paid really enough money, unless you're like the graduate level and you've got a PhD and you're doing some research and you have tenure. And so, but then transpose that into Thailand, where the wages are simply less. I mean, even if you're like, a guy from California and you're doing a job over here, I mean, you'll get paid better, right, than the average, but you won't necessarily make, some money. So it was really cool to kind of do that because I like I can't travel like Jeremy does. I can't do Jeremy's travel stuff. I do Mike's travel stuff. And I do, live streams on the beach, or I just do walk and talks on the beach or whatever. And it's just different than other vloggers, right? And so I'm sort of missing his ability to travel. And, and he's a friend too. So I was kind of like, well, hey, it'd be kind of cool if he could like do some more travel. And so obviously you guys got on board. We're part of that. And that was really neat. Technically, though, I have figured out a way to have one chat for both channels. Because if you don't know, you guys, many do, because you've been on both, but we simulcast on both channels at the same time. I also stream on YouTube and that sort of thing. Sorry, Facebook as well as YouTube. Additionally, I have a new partnership that I started actually a few days ago. It's not necessarily a platform that any of you would know, but I'm really excited because I think it's going to branch out, live my ass off, as well as the Cool Kids Table, to other parts of the globe. And so it's called Africa TV, but it's AFREECA TV.com. So if you wanted to go to any live stream, it would be play.africa.com, africatv.com/live my ass off. And that's going to be, it's in the description and show notes and that sort of thing down in the list of, places where you can find me kind of thing. So anyway, so it doesn't really sort of affect any of us doing this right here. But the neat thing is that I think it's going to be a good opportunity for me. Probably I won't even see any sort of interface with most people for the next year. But I like to get on these new platforms and kind of try them out and see, what they're doing. So anyway, so that was a new thing that also happened this year. Excuse me. Did you get my email from an hour ago? I did, Todd. And in fact, I'll tell you what, now's a great time relative to what he sent me. Basically, it was sort of an update from, it wasn't sort of an update. It was an update excuse me, from IATA, right? And about COVID-19 and getting the tests and that sort of thing. So he also sent me a thank you yesterday for the update on the past couple days on the elite visas, right? Because I think there's been sort of discussion, oh my God, you can get in if you have an elite visa, you just like walk in. Well, no, I mean, obviously you need to get the other thing, but you also need to get approval. And that's not, they don't just like double click on that. Like, in other words, the elite program, they still need to go through immigration and that sort of thing. And I guess there's an approval that's necessary if you have your elite card. You don't just walk in and they're like, okay, if you're a diplomat or you're an elite. No, apparently there's more steps to it than that. So let me do this. I want to do a screen share of this article that I just came across. Actually, there's two of them. I don't need to share the audio. And let me see where I'm. Okay, awesome. So basically, no tourists until 2021, right? And this is, again, a lot of this is sort of a regurgitation of what you likely have seen elsewhere. But nonetheless, this one, and I respect the Tiger. I actually really think they have a good, I think the guy that, sort of manages it, he's got really good diction and he's got really good presentation skills, and it's really easy to listen to the guy. And I believe they're pretty much data and fact based. There's a little opinion, of course, in everybody, but anyway, I like the way that they sort of describe this, which is Thailand currently caught in a number of quandaries that continue to threaten the economy. And again, it's always sort of, I think hopefully you'll all argue that, the Thais are very focused on safety and health first, and then, they'll figure out the economy. And again, it's not all of the economy. Okay. I mean, if you're in so yesterday, it took us over an hour and a half to basically get 3 kilometers. And because we had to go down Sukhumvit, and then we took a side street and then looped around. And of course, Sukhumvit, sometimes you got to go way down and then make a U-turn. And it was it was like almost an hour ride in this Grab, I mean, air conditioning, obviously nice car, but, my point is that Thailand's open for business and Thailand is doing business. And just because Nana Plaza is dead doesn't mean the whole rest of Bangkok, because I mean, there are 8 million people that actually, probably never go to Nana Plaza or don't even know how to spell it, for that matter, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so the gist of this article, and I'll quote some of it, which is, meanwhile, the borders remain largely sealed. We all know that, with the prospect of general tourism travel being pushed forward until at least 2021. And I'll put a link to this in the description later on when I when I publish the video. But I like this. He said he didn't expect Thailand to become welcome tourists until at least 2021. He noted that discussions about potential reopenings have been very risk averse. And again, as we've all sort of talked, but I think this is really interesting as it comes, like I said, on the heels, right, of the previous article that I can't remember where I saw it. But it was like, hey, so we're going to open like 5 islands, right? We're considering opening up 5 islands. And so this Wednesday was Mother's Day, right? So that was a holiday, which means they didn't have the cabinet meeting. So I could be wrong. In my mind, I think that they announce stuff on Tuesday and then they have a cabinet meeting on Wednesday. But it may be back one day. They may have a cabinet meeting on Tuesdays, and they may then announce that on Wednesdays, but I'm not accurate. The bottom line is that there's a very sort of common 2 days in a row of the week in Thailand where the discussion around, modifications they're going to make, and then the deployment of that and the announcement of it. I believe that's a Tuesday-Wednesday combo. And the Christmas period, usually the high season, is in jeopardy, and I'm looking horribly even to Chinese New Year in February, which is an iffy proposition at best now. Unfortunately, this is not a rosy picture. And again, so they're quoting the International Marketing Director, I assume, at TAT, Tourism Authority of Thailand. And they talked about, there's no timeline, right? And so that's the thing, is that this news comes out hey, by the way, we're going to open up, 5, or we're going to talk about opening up 5 islands, and then potentially people get really, I got really excited. I'm like, awesome, Koh Samui, I'll fly Gracie over. We'll meet in Phuket. We'll hang out there. If we have to stay there for 2 weeks, fine. And then she can somehow, come back up to Bangkok, and then we'll figure out a long-term visa strategy from there. But, and then of course this comes out and it's like, well, that's not happening. But what the other neat thing is they compare it to Auckland, New Zealand. they haven't had a case in 3 months, right? But it's 102 days without any local transmission until yesterday, and they had an announcement of 4 new cases in Auckland, and then a further 4 possible cases, right, that they identified. This was yesterday, and then they identified apparently another 4 more today. But they said, and they highlighted the fact that New Zealand became I don't know. Well, envy is what they say. I don't know if that's really accurate, but certainly they were very visible because people were like, hey, how are these guys doing it right? And they sort of cite the fact that the way that they did it right is they had a lockdown. And now that they've had these 8 new cases, then, they're locking everything down. And I don't know if it's going to be as intense as last time. They don't really go into detail about it. But the point is they reference it. And, so anyway, today business again closed around Auckland, and chances dwindle of the nation reopening its borders just for 8, right? And I mean, again, it's like, look, dude, there's going to be, 8 people died from something, and look, I get that this is a, possibly deadly thing. I'm not going to debate the whole, but the point is that I think that that's a little ridiculous in my mind, so. Oh, you guys are 2 time zones apart. That's interesting. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that's sort of what prompted me to look at that, Todd. And cool, great. And also Todd posted it in the comments. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. You like cats and ATVs? Good to know, Hike. I'll know that, because then when Christmas time comes, I know what to put on top of the ATV along with the big red bow that I'm getting you. Something about free TV. La 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 la. Oh, hey, what's going on, Brian? Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. You're a minimalist. I envy you. Well, that's funny. Yeah, Aztec says, you remember Ken? That was the guy that came to the stream and gave me like 10. Well, I don't know what it was. It was his Norwegian kroners. Is that right? I can't remember his currency, but yeah, he gave me like 10. That was like kind of crazy. And Mike's Ride for Kicks did Nana. He showed the taco joint I was trying to tell you. Oh, and in the park. Yeah, that's cool. It's funny. I went out to Mexican last night. Me and my buddy went for Mexican food last night, and the bill was 2,100 pesos. 2,100 baht. A little excessive for Mexican food. They also had, a 10% service charge and then 7% VAT. But I was like, okay, well, that was, we won't do that again. 3 tacos was $10. It was 299 baht for like 3 fish tacos. Now, they were good, okay? And it was like a specialty place, and it was over off of Prompong, so, or Prakanong. Was it Prakanong? No, it was Prompong. So it was basically like down the street from EM Courtier, so it's like, oh, geez, I wonder, all the money didn't go to the food. It went to the damn rent they have to pay over there. But, cool. I'll have to check his out. I haven't seen you, or rather, I haven't seen his videos in a while. But yeah, absolutely, man. Glad you're here, Brian. Hike says, you truly are retired. Walking to the mailbox and back is my big plan. Yeah, absolutely. That's about all I got going on. Now, I'm going to go visit some buddies over in Ekamai, too, which is like another thing that I do. And I like that, too. But yeah, I'll tell you, for being retired, I'm pretty damn busy. But yeah. What's been your experience with the algorithm? Have you had problems with the demonetization? No, I haven't. But again, you got to remember that like I concentrate on it significantly less than a lot of other people. And so it's not really something that I certainly don't obsess over it. And the only interest I would have in it would be sort of like, I don't know, like anecdotal, really. I don't have a big here's if you don't know, there's this if you're into SEO, if you're into search engine optimization, which I was for a while, it was one of the things that my consulting company did, and it helped small businesses get their website shown higher. Okay. So anyway, as part of that, I've been to the Googleplex and I met the guys that, or I did, this is a while ago. And so I saw, how they design things, how their culture operates, the teams that they have, how they have like, 3 to 5 person teams. Anyway, so what happens is if people say, oh yeah, well, Google changed the algorithm again. And they speak of that as if like for the last 2 weeks, it's been operating exactly the same every single day. No. It changes a little bit almost every single day. Sometimes it changes many times per day. The when it changes significantly, and to what Jeremy was referencing, whereby I guess his AdSense went from, something to nothing kind of thing, it decreased quite a bit. When those sweeping changes happen, those of us in the SEO world that are trying to basically understand the algorithm and provide Google the data such that we will get visible more so than, let's say, our competition, for the sake of argument. Anyway, when that changes and you're doing SEO, you basically freak out, and people refer to that as the Google dance. You do the Google dance because you're like, oh my God, I can't, what's going to happen? I don't know what to do. I went from 1 to 70 or kind of thing, right? So it changes constantly. And it's one of those things where, using the human brain to try and figure out how AI and ML made a decision, that is a fool's errand, as they say. That's like trying to diagnose. Now, wait a minute. Why did this email end up in my spam folder and the other one wasn't marked as spam? How did it get through, kind of thing? And it's like, okay, you're using the human brain, because spam filtration is basically AI and ML. And spam, sending it, phishing attacks, yes, there's humans involved, but it's AI and ML that basically tries to get it through. It's like an inverse search engine optimization, if you will. In other words, you're trying to get it past an algorithm that is trying to deny you access, and you're trying to punch through the holes. But I think it's, for me, from a technology standpoint, from a mathematics standpoint, it's very interesting to me. And I really empathize for the guys and gals who have a lot of money or a lot of income riding on the fact that they believe that they have a pattern of behavior that has been able to, sometimes they refer to it, I would submit it incorrectly, as tricking the algorithm. You're not tricking anything. But you're able to sort of ride the wave of what it has. Okay, so these are the things that I know work. If I put this word in the title and I use this amount of text versus a picture in my thumbnail, or I have I think it's pretty easy for us to, using our human brain, say, I think my videos that have thumbnails of really cute girls get more views. Yeah, probably. That's not really difficult to come across, but there's a number of factors that go into it. So it's a challenge. Cody says, my plan is retired, is deciding whether I have shrimp or rice that day, or calamari and a Chang beer. I get it, dude. Well, if you guys don't know, so when I first came over here, my goal was to basically hang out. Obviously, Gracie and I would be together. And that occurred about 36 hours after I landed. I landed early so I could take care of my insurance and then just do some stuff. But then meet her at the airport and surprise her, because she thought I was coming in 12 hours after she got here. But I got here. So that was neat. But the goal was to basically go to the beach and stare at my feet. I wanted to just go to the beach and put my feet in the sand, and that's it. I wanted to do nothing. Well, I'm not a do nothing kind of guy. And so, so that has been, but again, I'm not unhappy. I'm ridiculously happy, and I get to do things that I really love to do. Oh, okay. King Leeway is doing a live stream. That's cool. He's a good guy. As I said, I'd be happy if I could just achieve that 4 to 5 months of a year at that stage. Yeah, sure. It's all possible, dude. What's the Facebook? I don't really know what that was in reference to. Again, that comment came at 9:16. I'm about 14 minutes behind on my comments, Cody. So I really apologize. And yes, absolutely, I'm getting you a free ATV. Africa TV. And that's actually, if you were to put all of your letters together, that is exactly what it would spell. It's a free ATV, baby. Something about free TV. What the hell is that all about? If I don't win, I'll be disappointed. That's all right. You're all in the running. You are all in the running, my friends. And then he's got the website up there. Did you end up giving Mike the poem you wrote, or as I describe it, the love letter? Damo says, yeah. So and he kicked me in the guts. So no, here's what was funny. And I touched on this in a previous video, but the cool thing is, the nice thing is, honestly, you guys, is that I really believe that none of us at this Cool Kids table, we're not, we're not good friends. We haven't met up, but I believe we're building a relationship and we're building a friendship and we're getting to know each other. And then the cool part of that is we're giving each other crap as we do that, right? But what I was about to say is I don't believe that any of us walk on eggshells with this sort of interface that we have. And I really like that. But the other nice thing too is that, I mean, like everybody else, right? Like I'm learning how to be a better me every single day. So anyway, so Aztec reaches out to me, and I think I told the guys this, and I didn't say it was Aztec, but he reached out. He was talking something about Facebook, and again, there was a number of things that had just happened in my life prior to getting this message, and so at the end of the day, yes, I basically snapped at him, and then he goes, "Here, fine," and he says, "I mean, that literally, that's how I interpreted it. I'm not saying that's how he said it, but yeah, it was absolutely a love letter, and I wish I could show it because I can't. I don't think I have Line on this laptop, so I can't really. Anyway, it was awesome. So thank you very much. And I love love letters, dude. I'll take them from anybody. Are you suggesting it's a little too keen? I'm a little too keen on Mike's shirts. I'll tell you what. Buy me one. Buy me your most favorite. Or sorry, don't buy me. Send me a link to your most favorite shirt, and if it's not too ridiculously expensive, I'll buy it. I'll wear. I'll do my live streams wearing one of the shirts that the Cool Kids table donated to Bald Guy. I've been modding for Josh's Patia streams past 4 days. I get all sorts of line IDs. I'll show Mike. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's how we're connected, right? Online. Anyway, Josh, what is it called again? I skipped down. I apologize. Josh's Patia. Josh's Patia stream. Is that kind of like Jeremy's streams, but like the name of his channel is Do More Life? I don't know who Josh is. I apologize. Now that's up to 17, I heard. It shows me 18. It looks like one thumbs up over on Facebook. I don't believe right here is where I see it. You guys don't see it. It displays live, and the number of minutes and seconds counts up at 46 minutes, 38, 39, 40. seconds. I get 18 watching is what it tells me, and then I have one thumbs up for Facebook. But what's interesting is it doesn't display for me. I mean, I can go over to the YouTube channel. It doesn't display for me how many watching over there. So I really appreciate the guys that give me the measurement in shakas in New Zealand. Got it. New Zealand suspect that COVID has spread to the sheep, and that's how many are getting it. Again, New Zealand is full of people who are like, boom. Maybe. I've never been a fan of wool, so I don't know if I could go that route. Josh's streams have raised 18,000 baht per night for Smile Bar Patia. Past 4 nights straight. Really awesome stuff. Good for him, man. That's awesome. I love when people do that stuff. One of the things that okay, so here's what's funny. You guys remember when I did the live stream? It was a random one, but I was like walking down Sukhumvit holding my phone. And then, one of the discussions was, hey, so I mean, there's unfortunate homeless people that are on the side of the street. What if I did one of these things and I talked about basically raising money, and you guys would super chat me, and then I would take that super chat money and I would donate it to these homeless people. And so to your point about how what the algorithm, that was limited monetization. So effectively what we'll all refer to as demonetization. So then what you do is you submit it, and they manually go through it. And every single video, except this one, other than the copyright ones where I've used, copyright music, they've gone through it manually, and they said, no, it's still, you still can't monetize this. And they don't tell you why. They say, well, it's one of these 97,000 reasons, right? You go to this URL. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. But I was interesting because I was thinking to myself, I was talking to my buddy Dana the other day, and I said, dude, one of the live streams that I really love doing was walking down the street. And then I thought, hey, what I should do is I should walk down the street, do a live stream, and then the guys in the super chat or via super chat, the guys can donate some money, and then I'll give that money. Because I really liked doing that when I was at that restaurant in Koh Samui. That was awesome. And I like to think that you guys kind of got something out of it too, right? Because we were helping out another guy that, I mean, let's face it, his business is dying. There's no one going to that restaurant except me that night. And, but unfortunately, for some reason, Google didn't, or YouTube didn't particularly appreciate it. And I'm not sure why. Out the wellies. Stepping away. Hope you're still when I get back. Hope so too, Brian. That's good. That's always good to see you, man. God, I hope you can come back here soon, dude. But I mean, who knows? I think Chiang Mai is unfortunately, it may not occur till 2021, which is a real bummer. Ba means no. Good stuff, guys. That's pretty funny. Thigh slap. Bum. Oops. Old school WF to the sheep herders. You guys are hilarious. Oh, hey, Hugh. How you doing, man? If I send a shirt, people will ask if you lost a bet. Bring it, dude. Absolutely bring it. That would be like, Nico Greco. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, my friend. If you guys don't know, Nico Greco was actually the first person to ever donate any money to this channel. And then Brian was a very close second. And again, that's based on like when I saw it. The timing of when stuff comes in, unfortunately, gets delayed sometimes. Like sometimes it's been like 12 hours before, and PayPal hasn't notified me that like someone, puts my, like, wake up in the morning. I'm like, wait, I did a live stream. Well, that's weird. Anyway, whatever. So the other thing I was thinking about is this podcast. And so it's been around for a while. And in fact, if you go to, I want to say Spotify, believe it or not, and if you just type in the word Bangkok, I believe that it is the #1 podcast, or the one that shows up the first, using just that keyword in Spotify. Now, again, that was me testing it from here in Bangkok, right? So obviously there's some location data that they have, and probably if you were to type in Atlanta, Rockman, it would probably give you the most, because you're in Atlanta, right? And if I typed it in, it would probably say something totally different. Anyway, the podcast is called Bangkok Strange. We haven't aired oh, dude, you're so awesome. Todd, thanks, buddy. Dorman, you're so rad. I really, really appreciate it, man. I'm honored when you guys do that. That's really cool. And just so you know, I'm not going to that same Mexican restaurant that I was talking about going to earlier, where a meal it was 2 of us, but still it was about, 1,100 baht each. And I'm like, there's no way. Whereas if I get the $5, man, that's 150 baht, man. I can eat for 2 days on that. I don't go to a silly Mexican restaurant. Although, I mean, it was very good, but again, a lot of it was like presentation. Like they had, the tacos were like angled perfectly. And then they had, it was all on a wooden plank, and all this, which I like. I like stuff like that occasionally. But for the most part, I just like walking down the street to my chicken and sticky rice lady, and then going over to my salad lady, and then going over to my coconut shake guy, and then going to my som tum guy, and bringing all that home. And basically for about 150. Oh, man, what do we got going on here? Is this like a challenge you guys are going to do? Thank you so much, Nico. And so for that 100 and, well, now it's almost 300 baht. I can't remember what the exchange rate is, but Nico, I absolutely will, dude. How about the locals? They're feeling the pinch. It's interesting. As I mentioned before, yes, I mean, nobody's winning the lottery every single day here. Well, I mean, some people are. Business owners are back to business. I mean, if you take a guy like Ben, right, the guy that does the integrity legal videos, his business is pretty much doing the same amount of business it was doing before. It's doing a different kind, right? I mean, the infamous pivot, right? People are like, well, I can't do this anymore. I walk down the street, and if it was a month ago, there would be specifically, I mean, there's still the other businesses are back running around. There were 2 locations, and, the door was down and the for rent sign was there. Well, now a month later, there's 3 actually brand new restaurants on my street between where I walk at my condo and I go to the BTS. But to your point, Nico, I'll tell you what, I know exactly where I'm going to spend that money. Will be for the locals when I go to Koh Phangan, because going to Koh Phangan and Koh Samui and Phuket and those places, I mean, I heard this statistic. It actually kind of makes sense. 80% of the revenue in Phuket comes from tourism. That's crazy. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, 20% of GDP. Okay, we got to figure that out, and we will. But 80% in Phuket, I mean, I have read a few things where people are like, okay, yeah, we really got to figure out a way to get revenue in a different way for us here in Phuket. But I mean, and again, they do have, like, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I noticed this. I was talking with Rob about this when we were doing the live stream. The amount of affluence that's increased down in Phuket just in the last 5 years. I mean, from the time I was there like a couple weeks ago to 5 years before that, when I was there for the first time, man, there's like, I mean, I don't believe I saw a Mercedes the last time I was there. And I saw many of them that were there, Thais and Farang, BMWs, that sort of thing. And of course, now, I mean, pretty much every car you see is new out there because, a lot of the Thais have had a little bit more money and they're doing well, entering the middle class, being able to take out loans, very attractive monthly payments in cars, that sort of thing. So again, here in Bangkok, people are back to work, man. But when I go to Koh Phangan, which is Monday, by the way, so Monday I go down to Surat Thani. I take the plane, AirAsia, and then from there I have a, you buy these things online. It's like van / ferry boat. And so like then they give me like a pass. And so when I leave the van, I get on the boat. And I did this last time. This time I bought it ahead of time and it really didn't save me a whole lot of money, but I figured, well, that's cool. I'll just have it. That way I don't have to get off the plane because I'm pretty much taking carry-on only. Walk right off the plane, walk up to the desk. Hi, I'm Mike. And they give me the thing. And then bam, I'm in the van and I'm on my way. The problem is that I'm taking AirAsia. And, I mean, look, no airline is doing terrific right now, but AirAsia is always rescheduling the times of their flights, even when there's not COVID. They're always late, even when there's not COVID. Now, lately, with some flights, believe it or not, they've left early and they've arrived early and they've arrived in less time. Like normally the flight takes an hour and 10 minutes. Coming back from Chumpon, it took like 45 minutes. So that was, I mean, AirAsia is doing some really impressive things. Oh, Damo, you're so rad, dude. For the super secret. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I won't tell anybody when I use that money. How's that, Damo? I'll just send you a message with the code word will be I'm cleaner. How's that? I've been scrubbed. I'm much cleaner. Thank you very much, Damo. That's like totally awesome, man. You guys are so cool. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I sort of just so you know, that's sort of where I save up the super chats and the PayPals and stuff. And I usually will deploy those there. And again, you got to remember, like, I'm a vacation in my own hometown, if you will. In other words, or I'm vacationing in my own hometown. I'm a tourist in my own hometown. When I'm going to these places, because I mean, I've never been. And, for the most part, I'm staying in hotels and that sort of thing. So obviously I'm spending a lot more money than I normally would. And I don't necessarily, I mean, I do like going to the street vendors and that sort of thing, but I don't necessarily seek out, I'm not really I'm not all that price conscious. Let's just say that, as I might be, living my day-to-day life here though. So anyway, but Damo, thank you, man. That's pretty good. All right, dude. Glad you're back. 26, 18 up, 0 down. I love the 0 down. I mean, Again, I understand why some people do it. I understand why some people do it because they're just losers. I understand why other people do it because they're just like, no. I want to let the algorithm know I don't like this kind of content. Put me somewhere else. But other than that, I can't understand why anyone would bother. It's just like, I don't like this guy. Bam, go away. I mean, that's what I do. Like when I watch a video, I'm like, I'm just not really into it. I go somewhere. I'm like, I don't thumbs up. I don't thumbs down. I just, I'm going to move on. I got better things to do. Oops, shower time. Good to know. Like soapy shower? Like, should I be saving Damo's money for you, Mango? Did you have Corona beer at the Mexican restaurant? No, I don't drink, man. And my buddy, he doesn't really drink either. So no, we didn't have beers. You are probably fairly new to the channel. Yeah. So I've been sober 28 years, and I think that's one of the things that I can credit for my ability to really focus on work my ass off and potentially retire, if you will, early. Who knows? Maybe not. Because is it expensive, Jorgen? Yeah, I don't. I have no idea what beer costs anywhere, really. It's not very good unless you add. Oh, really? Well, you know why they do that historically, right? Because they would spray the bottles in Mexico. At least this is the folklore. They would spray the bottles with disinfectant to basically like keep the rats away. And so when you popped it open, you would run the lime around the bottle actually to sort of disinfect it from that. But of course, that's changed into throwing the lime inside of the beer, which of course, if you follow the folklore, then you would never do because you're like, oh yeah, let me wipe all of this poison and then I'll shove it into my beer. So that it's kind of a combo. At least that's what I've heard. So Once you've added time, one is okay to drink with fajitas. I don't know what that means. Once you've added time. Where's your head? And you're having to go to me about flaming Aussie poem. What? You're having a go at me about a flaming Aussie poem? Oh, me? Oh, no, I hope not. I have a Mercedes. I find it funny when people stare at me like I'm a baller. I got the baby for $5,500 and it's an 03. I just say the age. Yeah, they do age well for sure. Top notch engineering. Yeah, but they lose. Oops, sorry. But they lose their value big time once the warranty's up. Yeah, no, I've had several. I completely agree. And again, it's one thing to be standing with someone and just saying, well, what kind of car do you have? Oh, I have a Volkswagen. Oh, I have a Mercedes. So I get that. But I mean, I'm talking about. I mean, these are not 3 years old. These Benzes that I'm seeing cruising around. And Mercedes makes a really decent car. And I don't know if they're really overpriced. They might be. Maybe in the U.S., they might be a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, again, they're going to last a long time, right? Value big time once the warranty. They lose their value big time once the warranty is up. Good to know. Yeah, I had BMWs I had 2, I think. Yeah, I had the 4-door and then I had the convertible. The convertible was fun. That was neat. That was kind of a project car. I bought that. Both me and my dad worked on it. I paid it. God, what did I pay for that? Like $1,000 or something like that. But it got really, really nice leather seats. And I even spent time, my dad and I actually spent time with this sort of manual handheld stitcher. And we restitched the leather on the seats and then, put a ton of like saddle soap on it, that sort of thing, and made it a little bit, more plush a little bit more pliable because it kind of dries out, obviously, in the sun in a convertible. But that was a really fun car. VW top-notch build quality, 0 frills to go wrong. BMW, on the other hand. No, I mean, I've heard people label BMWs as being kind of finicky, but I can tell you that the ones that I experienced, which included not mine, but a friend of mine's, the electronics actually, meaning like the entertainment system, if you will. But other than that, and I've had 2 BMWs. I had a cabriolet, convertible, right? And then I had in high school, or just out of high school, right when I started university, got a 1986 GTI Golf GTI, and that was a great car. I mean, that was a really, really fun car. I loved that car. And then I drove that car cross country just to get out to California. And then it got stolen out of my parking spot in front of my apartment for about, how long was I there? Less than 3 years, maybe. So that was disappointing. After that, I got a Saab Turbo, which was an okay car, but 2013 SLK 350, 30 miles to gallon, cruising the highway at 75 miles an hour, which is easy with less traffic. It's red, got a lot of compliments. Yeah, those are nice looking cars, dude. I completely agree. A friend of mine has one of those in San Diego, actually. I haven't talked to her in a while, now that I think about it. I should see how she's doing with all of this. I just buy them 10 years old with 100,000 miles for around that. They last me about 5 or more years. Put 500 miles a week on them, but I look at the cost as about $100 a month. That's awesome, dude. That's totally awesome. That's definitely one way to go, and it's a way that I bought cars for a long time too. But a big problem's come. Yeah, you sell them for $1,000 to get a new one until they work. Yeah, I completely agree. Like if you need a new transmission, you're like, no. I'm not putting a brand new transmission that's going to cost 60% of the value of this vehicle. Whoops, sorry. BMW, pretty much the equivalent. I just prefer sedans. Yeah, there you go. Nice. I'm out. See you next stream. Cool Kids Table. Right on, Damo. And thank you so much for the super chat, dude. I promise I'll put it to good use. I'll try to do a live stream when I'm interfacing with folks that we're donating Cool Kids money to. BMWs lose value even faster. Well, I'll tell you what. In my experience, at least the cars that I've had, my Land Rover, nothing decreases in value faster than a Land Rover. I was amazed at how quickly they go. Now, to be fair, Rolls Royces lose their value pretty quickly too. In other words, as far as like amount, right? I mean, they lose the amount that like a Volkswagen costs, But of course, you're 100K into this thing. So anyway, but the infamous, you drive it off the lot and it goes down. I don't know, what is it, 5%, 10%, something like that. But Toyota's obviously, Honda hold their value. I'll tell you what holds their value really well as far as used cars go are all of them in Thailand. Used cars hold their value like crazy out here. I'm like, oh yeah, I should be able to pick one of the, like a 10-year-old Toyota for like a couple $1,000. No, it's like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? But yeah, it's very odd the way it works here. Jorgen, ouch. Soapy. No. Hashtag I'm clean. That's where that money will go. I promise. I'm trying to think how long it's, well, I mean, it's pretty easy for me to like reflect back and say, God, how long has it been since I did this and this and this and these things? And the short answer is all I got to do is say, well, I met Gracie in January of 2016, right? And, you know, the rest is history, as they say, right? But the cool thing is it's not just history, it's the present. So all I got to do is figure out a way to get her over here. And, or at the end of the day, I got to figure out a way for us to be together. And to have some opportunity. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how long that's going to take. I mean, you know, you guys are in the same boat, just with sort of a different scenario, right? Like you want to get somewhere, be it to your girlfriend or your fiance or your wife or your house or out of the country or away from whatever nonsense is around you that you determine it to be annoying. But yeah. So that's what's happened for me. Nathan, good to see you. Good morning to you, sir. Greetings from the Big Mango. Welcome to the Cool Kids Table. Glad you're here. I'd rather be in Thailand getting it. Yeah, I know. How come there aren't bumper stickers that say that? None of this. I'd rather be fishing. It's like, no, dude, I'd rather be in Thailand. I can't remember which one of you guys it was. It might have been Aztec. I can't remember. But I was doing one of my my Why Thailand videos, right? And it was like literally one of the best comments that had come on a live stream in a long time. It was, why Thailand? Mike, because it's Thailand. And I'm like, indeed. That's basically it. Why do I like Thailand? Dude, because it's Thailand. Focus. Kenneth says his first car was a BMW 76. Stereo had Phoenix Gold MS 275, Celestian bass. I remember that 1500 watt. Was worth more than the car. Yeah, I know. And that was the thing, right? I mean, again, you buy a car today and, you know, it's got an entire entertainment system in the dash that's like wired everything. The speakers are perfectly designed and they got, you know, EQ. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty good. You can obviously still upgrade. But back then it was just like, no, I'm going to pop that thing out of the dash. I'm going to drill holes in the doors or I'm going to put 6x9s on the back thing. You know, that was very common. In 76, my parents, I'm trying to think, my dad had a Mercedes at the time. He had just gotten, it was a 75. I think he got that in 76. Maybe it was 78. I can't remember. We had a 74 Plymouth Scamp. My dad actually was one of the first people that anyone ever knew. They're like, what is that white car? And it was a BMW. He had a 1968, the 1600. So there was the 2002 that came out the year after, and then for many years thereafter in the United States. But he had a 1600, and it had manual. It didn't have power steering, so the steering wheel was really, really big. But it was a 4-speed. It was one of the first cars that I ever learned how to drive a stick shift in. And it was, and in driving, I would literally drive from one end of the driveway to the other. Like I would go in reverse to the end of it, and I would drive maybe first. I never got it in second, right? Because it was the whole like accelerator clutch modulation thing that I had to kind of perfect. That I think is one of the bigger challenges. That was probably the hardest thing for me when I was taking my motorbike lessons. The hardest thing, meaning that like it freaked me out for a good hour kind of thing. And then after that, I'm like, oh, well, this actually isn't so hard. But the shifting, the leaning, I kind of got into. I mean, that made sense to me, obviously turning in tight turns and then you put your weight the other way. That was a really cool learning experience. But at first, the shifting, I thought that was really going to be like distracting. I thought that was going to be, but yeah. And then of course, once you do it in a car, right? I mean, I remember when I first started doing it, I was physically smaller too, but I remember like looking at my feet, and it was funny because Gracie's never driven a car. So I put her, she's like, I want to learn how to drive a car. I said, okay, well, that takes a while. So she gets in my car. Now, she said she had driven a golf cart before, and so we drove the golf cart on campus. And so I'm like, okay, accelerator, brake. She got it. She knew which one was which. But she got in the car and she got a little nervous. I mean, she's like, okay, this is like Mike's brand new. Because for the most part, I had new cars like for years. And so, she had some degree of apprehension because she's like, okay, if I damage this, it's going to be a pain. But but I had insurance and stuff. I was like, whatever. Anyway, so we were on campus and we were like just kind of cruising around, and so the modulation for her of like the gas and the brake, that was a new thing. So she was like trying to, and of course, every car is a little bit different too. So she was feeling that out. But what was interesting is just like I did, like literally the first time I sort of started, the first time I drove, the first time, it wasn't just like I'm sitting on my lap with, when my dad's driving, years ago, right? This was like, I was like 14, 15, kind of getting the feel of it before I was going to get my learner's permit, right? And sure enough, she like looks at her feet and she was looking at her feet using, and I looked down and I'm like, I guess that's like the default setting for a lot of people when they first do this. Anyway, so she, got rid of that habit fairly quickly, as did I, as I'm sure all of you did. But it was interesting to be like, oh, yeah, I guess that's just no matter where you're from, right? That's what you do. But it was interesting working on that with her. She got a little nervous about it, and so we didn't really sort of continue the lessons, unfortunately. But the good news is she's since gotten a motorbike and she's driving. In fact, today she's going to open up her shop, and then she's going to go over to this motorcycle training school of some kind in the Philippines. And then she does that, and then she gets like, your either your temporary license or your learner's or whatever they're referring to it. Basically, your first motorbike license, and then you do some stuff, and then several months later, then you get your like permanent license kind of thing. Whereas over here in Thailand, you get a temporary license that's good for 2 years, which is what I have, which is what many people have when they come over here. But yeah, good memories of old cars, Kenneth. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Looked at BMW's signature small grill openings. Bavaria must not have had the same cooling requirements as Arizona. Not for me. Yeah, well, Arizona is that's definitely not Germany. Yeah. Bavarian Motor Works, if you guys are curious. You may or may not know what BMW stands for. Well, so that's the English version. Obviously, I believe it's not Bavarian, which is the way they pronounce it. I believe it's like Bavaria or something like that, but Ford brand loyalty. Oh, yeah, you're a big fan of those? Yeah, I get that. I prefer someone to handle my feet in a parlor. The rest, I got that. Good for you. It's good to have healthy boundaries. Have an F-150 and a 250. There you go, dude. Those are big. Best Fords were 99 through 2000. Really? What happened in 2008? Was that when like they had a different leader or something like that? They changed engineering standards, or they started making them elsewhere, or they just cheapened them to make more profit? I'm not quite sure. Has a lot of car stuff on his channel. MetTech. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Good to know. 74 Nova hatchback ran a stop sign that a tree was blocking and got T-boned on the side. Ouch, dude. I hope that didn't cause any permanent damage other than potentially to your ego. That's a drag. 312,000 miles on an 03 FX4 I use mainly. Good for you, dude. That's really awesome. I mean, FX4, do you mean like a Ford 4x4? Is that what that abbreviation is for? I'm sorry, I'm not. I think that's what that means, but I'm not totally sure. 71 Datsun, right? Yeah. None of this Nissan stuff, dude. We had the original. We were OG Datsun. Out the door for 1,900. Lasted 10 years. Do 110 miles an hour. 40 miles to the gallon. That's pretty good at 60 miles an hour. That's cool. Well, okay, so $1,900 in 71. I mean, in 71, like a Cadillac probably cost, what, $20,000? Rolls Royce, maybe $40,000, $50,000, something like that in 71. I had a 71 Silver Shadow, and I believe that the original price for that was just under 50,000 US. Like, it was on the passenger side. Oh, tell me about it, dude. Thank goodness. I'm glad you said that. I was like, oh man, that's a permanent damage kind of thing. I mean, again, it's not like there were airbags back then, right? Totally can't get to the girlfriend until 2021. Yeah, I know, man. It's I can totally relate. Trust me. I hope it does not that long for Gracie and I, but there's a likelihood of it, right? Homemade boxes for your 6x9s. Yeah, I remember guys that would do that. I didn't like that solution because it didn't have enough air in the background, so you actually didn't get enough low end. It was nice when you basically had the entire trunk as the speaker cabinet, if you will. That was pretty good. But then I would port it, right, so you can like really get the low end. And it was neat too because it was a really good exercise in determining, like, because porting it meaning you would have like a tube. And of course, the length of the tube determines sort of the median frequency of what would go through those. So that was a really fun thing. I did that first with a whole bunch of the cardboard inserts for paper towels, right? So I did that, but of course, that would flex too, so it wasn't really as accurate as having a solid one. But that was a fun exercise. I remember doing that. I was really into audio, of course, and that was another thing that you sort of competed with your buddies on, right? You were like, dude, do you have the Sparkomatic? No, I got the Alpine. Ooh, the Alpine. What'd you get? Well, actually, I went for a Panasonic. Really? What's that like? Well, it's got auto reverse. Yeah, all of the little features that were. It was important. It was important to know. It was important to know the model numbers. It was important to know the frequency response, how much wattage the thing had, how much power it would consume, how much heat it would generate, and how much audio you could get from that. Really cool Ford Granada, GI version 6, also GI V6, right, V6, got it. 1980 model, but Granada was never States. UK and Europe, stick shift is a must. You think so, Kenneth? Yeah. Big Mustang fan. Well, the cool thing for you, buddy, is if I can't remember where you live, Kenneth, but I know. I'm sorry, I do know where you live. You don't live in Bangkok. It's the only sort of kind of Ford other than a truck you can buy. I mean, they don't make the sedans anymore, and they don't make. But the Mustangs over here, it's about 110,000, depending upon what kind of features you get. Nice, good job, Matt Tech. Gonna try to snooze. Catch y'all tomorrow. Cody, thanks a lot for swinging by, dude. I really appreciate it. Definitely catch you guys on Jeremy's stream, and yes, 4x4, got it. FX4, 4x4. Have a good one, man. I really appreciate you coming by. It's good to see you, Cody. In high school, hit dents, ego. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those dents in the car were a big ego bummer, weren't they? Let me get rid of some of these messages that are going to distract me. Like, for example, one of the things I always get online is the new specials that 7-Eleven has. And it's like, okay, whatever. So it's 10:05. I'll go for about another half an hour, guys. And then I'm going to shoot out about 10:30 and meet some of my buddies over in Ekamai. If I could get a right-hand drive Z3 coupe, thank you for the link, dude. I appreciate it. To Australia, I'd be in heaven. Oh, that's kind of cool. Could buy you the best jealous there. Yeah, that's true, right? Should women drive? You're in the car repair business, right? Boom. You guys are funny. Pioneer. Absolutely. Pioneer made really good stuff, didn't they? Yeah. I had a Pioneer, actually. I think it had like orange lighting, black face, yeah. I also had the kind where, or not necessarily a Panasonic, but I had the kind where, you could remove the face. And then like when you first get it, you're like, okay, I'm going to remove the face, and you put it into its plastic case and you would carry it around with you. This is what I did, at least. And then after a while, I'd be like, okay, this is getting annoying. And then you would I would take it off, put it in the glove box and just leave it there and then leave and then put it back in when I got. And then I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave this thing in there. And then having a blinking light on the dash, right? That was really important. Having an alarm system so no one would break in and steal it. Kenneth says his first American car was with my cousin buying a 1968 Olds Cutlass, baby. Yeah, the Olds Cutlass Supreme. Oldsmobile was a very popular brand, wasn't it? It's crazy when they said, well, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do that. I mean, the Pontiac is just the Thunderbird, right? Firebird, sorry. Ford Thunderbird, Pontiac Firebird. Yes, that's right. Yep, I remember that. Norway. Yeah, the Norway Kroner, right? High school, no cell phones, so the stereos were the thing, not like today. What cell phone you have? That's a great point, man. Yeah, I completely agree, Todd. The Super 2. Oh, my God. You guys, this is like so bringing back. I think we're all kind of the same age, right? So it's kind of like bringing back, what we did when we were in our teens. And, of course, the products were pretty much the same. And, from today's perspective, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually stood for that kind of low quality of audio, Because FM, you didn't get the best. So, obviously cassettes were really important in having Dolby C. I remember when I had Dolby C in one of my radios in the dash, and I was like, ooh, I'm living now. Grandma was also sold in North America. You mean Granada? But it's a totally different car to the European Granada, which is far superior. Didn't know that. That's an interesting data point. Nice, dude. Wait, maybe there was another one that I was considering sharing. So this isn't necessarily tourism related, but I found this, kind of interesting. I'll just share it, and again, I'll put it in the notes later on. When basically when YouTube goes to publish it, but Thailand urged to promote itself as production hub for medical supplies and personal protection equipment. And I thought that was really interesting. You see all these masks here. I remember that a whole bunch of masks manufactured in Thailand were, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe were donated to the Philippines. Excuse me. Oh my God. I already had coffee today. Maybe I need another one. Promote itself as a manufacturing hub for medical and personal protection equipment as part of its financial strategy amid the coronavirus crisis. Yeah, and the main reason I wanted to share that is, it really goes to their desire to, if you will, pivot, right? And how they're doing it, pretty quickly. Again, it's one thing to be like, okay, like we need to manufacture masks right now, total desperation. Let's convert this t-shirt shop to a mask. Okay, I get that. And obviously that's not just what they're focused on, but all the other stuff. But yeah, again, Thailand's been, famous, not necessarily known, let's just say that, for manufacturing. If you don't know, I don't know if they do this anymore, but I think they peaked at making 12% of the world's tires. And I know they have tire manufacturing plants down in Chonburi. I knew a lady who worked at a Chonburi factory. And it was funny because I said, oh, do you work for Goodyear or Firestone, or do you work, whatever? And she says, oh, well, it just depends what they want us to make. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, like 1 week we'll be making BF Goodrich tires, and the next week we'll be making Continentals, and the next week. And I'm like, okay, wait, I know that there are a bunch of brands that are under the same umbrella, they're the same company, but this factory literally made every single brand of tires throughout its lifetime. They would just be like, no, here are the specs, and here's how many we need. Here's the run, go for it. And then, just start vulcanizing, guys. And she's like, oh yeah, we make all the different, they give us the stamp so that we'd have the logo and everything. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that. Gonna super chat when you don't know it. You're gonna come from behind and super chat me, huh? Pioneer 200 watt in the car was the CD changer. First remote in the car I had. He had a remote because basically, if you extended your hand to the radio, it was a full 1 inch past that. So you're like, nah, I just want to be able to do the remote here. Or was it the remote that you could actually mount on the steering wheel? I remember that. That was pretty cool. 200 watt Pioneer, that probably sounded pretty good, right? But you pretty much need the cell phone to make the radio work. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nice. I like it. Yeah, I got that. Totally. Yeah. Installed an 8-track in my friend's van. Of course, it was a van. Broken into, and the thief left a note. How do you get in this? Couldn't steal it. Nice. That's pretty good. He was probably fairly lucid. That's good. I had someone break in my car once, took to the whole dash with a crowbar. Yeah, exactly. Didn't even have the damn stereo bolted in. They ruined my car for nothing. Yeah, again, it's, I think you guys like me just look at thieves and are like, why would you? But, I get it. Desperation. Desperate people do desperate things. Yeah, so I totally get that. Rackman's from Atlanta. Yeah, absolutely. Jump up and super chat me. Clovey cloves. I don't know what that is. Is that an Australian slang thing that I don't know about? Like Sheila's? Thailand also big. Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. I actually meant to expand on that. So tons of automotive parts. I mean, they manufacture a lot of cars that are sold here too. So they have automotive manufacturing plants, but then they also manufacture the parts that go into making the car. You know, Mitsubishi's a big one here. Toyota, right? I mean, or it. Well, it's like if you've seen all the blue bot buses down in Pattaya, right? I mean, those are all made here. Toyota also manufactures the cars that are the taxi cabs here. I know it's not Corolla. I don't remember what the model name is, but it's that car that you see, either the green and yellow or the pink, but the standard taxis you see here in Thailand, those are manufactured here. Clovey Cloves, got it. Okay, so is that a Do More Life substitute? So he doesn't so the bad words don't end up on his channel. So what time is it? 10:12. You know what, guys? I'm going to cut this short because I just remembered one more thing I wanted to do this morning. And I may do a live stream later on tonight, which would, of course, for the U.S. would be your morning tomorrow. Your Friday morning, actually. And then in Australia, it'll just be, basically the time that it is right now back east. It'll probably be like, 9 or 10 p.m. But I haven't decided. I know I have the one piece of electronics that I ordered, my other softbox, and I got to get some LEDs for that. That's another thing I need to do. Okay, I got a lot of agendas that I need to go over to Mr. DIY. Have you guys seen Mr. DIY? It's like yellow with like the red logo. They have really, really inexpensive, high quality LED lights there, like the light bulbs, that screw in. So I love Mr. DIY, and it's over on Nut. So it's really easy. On Nut is basically halfway between here and Ekamai. So that's really cool. So manufacture AC components for all over the world. Absolutely. Yeah, so let me get to some of these comments, and I'm basically going to say high five, chest bump, high five to you guys. Kenneth, need to see friends in Soy Cowboy, Country Road again. And free IP bar, then separate beds. I'm paying him. Nice, absolutely. Yeah, I got to tell you guys, I even when I'm up late, like watching TV, like I got home last night around 9 because again I was working on this podcast. It was about a 12-hour day, and part of that was also like sitting with my co-host and basically, or I'm the co-host, he's the host, and kind of rehashing what we did today, and also, how it's going to be better, how we're going to do this, because it's a podcast, right? But we're also going to be showing it on YouTube. During the YouTube portion of the podcast, the audio, 100% of the audio will be the same. However, the video, some of it will be actual video that we took in the room while we were recording the show. And another part of it will be just sort of stills that we took along the way. So anyway, stay tuned for that. And if you haven't subscribed to it, I encourage you to subscribe to Bangkok Strange. The host will still be the same, so Dana's obviously going to be there, but the co-host who was part of the origination of the show, Woody, I'm replacing him, and so it's going to be really fun. So anyway, Bangkok Strange. And with that, my friends, I want to thank you for coming by. I know this is like a pretty short live stream for me. But all that means is that I just want to do another one and do it really soon. I love hanging out with you guys in the Cool Kids table. You guys, thank you so much for the super chats. I'm honored by that. I really appreciate it. And with that, it's Mike saying, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, then you have not shown up at the Cool Kids table and hung out with all of your friends. Thank you guys for making this table very cool. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.